Hello everyone, Don here again with the next update on the 83 Mustang restoration project. It's been a couple weeks since I posted. Been kind of lazy, and we just got a new husky puppy. He's about 8 months old now, and so been messing with him for the last week or so, getting him accustomed to the new house. But what I managed to get done is today I spent a lot of the day cleaning the bottom of this car off to finish getting the remnants of the undercoating cleaned off. As you can see, it comes pretty clean. There's still areas that I still have to go back over it again to, clean up the runs from the petroleum-based products I'm using to cleaner. I've got pretty much center done. I think I need to do basically across top of here yet, which isn't bad. I had it rolled the way you see it here to work on it, and then I went ahead and remember I had this rusty area here around this drain hole. I took and cut out a square patch, made a new one, welded it in. So that was the last weld hole, hopefully on the bottom of the car. And I went through with the flap sander on grinder disc and knocked down some of these welds this was underneath the driver's seat, where the floor pan was all cracked up. But I spent quite a bit of time cleaning this thing off, and it still needs more cleaning. And then you'll get a final wipe down and then the epoxy primer eventually. Still up in the air about what I want to do with these upper torque boxes, if I want to go through the trouble of putting the aftermarket stuff in there. I did find that I missed a tiny little hole right there, so I gotta take that shut. But it came pretty clean. It looks pretty good. Then after I did a bunch of scraping on that, let's see, I went through and, like I said, I worked on some of these weld seams and knocked them down a little bit. And then let me go ahead and roll this back upright. So I don't know if I can set this up where you can see me rolling it. It should be okay. Roll around the top side. Alright. That's that. And then what I've been working on up till this point is basically cleaning the inside out. I put a wire cup wheel, this heavy duty wire cup wheel, on my 4.5 inch grinder, which is this thing here from Harbor Freight. This one I think might have been like a $30 one, Central Electric, but I tell you what, I beat the living snot out of that thing and it just keeps running. And those flap disc wheels, those things are super. So as you can see, I went in and ground off all the bumps from the welds, clean it up. This whole inside is going to be coated with I think it's called like second skin sound deadening material. It's kind of like truck bed liner material almost, but it's made to get rid of this, get rid of all that tinny sound. It's the same thing as buying that sound deadening pads Dynamat, but this stuff you can roll it on, brush it on, spray it on with like an undercoat gun. It's recommended to go on like 2 to 3 millimeters thick, so that's fairly thick. You're talking 3 millimeters, that's about 120 thousandths thick, almost 1/8 of an inch. I can see some runs there from my cleaner seeping through and running around, but the inside will be cleaned up. And then I spent a lot of time lighting in. Here's a little pour. I spent a lot of time finishing cleaning out the seam seal in this thing. I got this whole back end all cleaned out now from seam seal. I used that wire cup wheel. I got this cleaned up pretty good. I got all this old seam seal that was in here that was all brown from the mice living in this thing. But there's still some more final cleaning to do before it gets a good undercoat epoxy coating on it. It's just some crud in there. But again, all the way around here, some of this stuff was an inch thick. It was way overkill. It comes all the way around here, all the way around here, all around here, all the way around here, and then through. So the inside is going to take a little more cleaning. Then one other thing I did do, I mentioned that little hole up here underneath. There was a small hole right here, rusted through. So I cut it out, about a 1-inch pad, and then I noticed this panel underneath this was rusted pretty bad. So I kept cutting it back, cutting it back, cutting it back, cutting it back. Well, I ended up cutting out this much to get to that rust. It wasn't rotted through or anything, but it was heavily rusted that it would have continued rusted through. So I welded a patch in there, and now this will all just get body filler. Clean that up. I did get the trim off of this window on this side. So all it's left to do is pull the clamps on the inside. There's some clamps in here, these little guys. And then I'll try and get both of these glasses out, because all this stuff needs to be cleaned up really good. I did find one more hole right there that I'm going to have to weld shut. And then again, all that seam seal. So I went through and kind of knocked down a lot of this stuff, cleaned this all up. So this will all get a good scrubbing. I was using a Scotch-Brite pad with the cleaner to scrub all this undercoating off. And I'll take that wire wheel in here and clean up some more of this floor pan. But again, my idea is to kind of box this in a little better, box in the sides to stiffen this thing up. So the next major project is going to be cutting this roof out for the T-top. So I just wanted to get a little quick update in on what I've done so far. You can see everything in there that's been ground down. Not much other to report on it, but I spent most of the day just trying to clean that floor pan and get the rest of the seam seal out. There might still be some remnants of stuff in here and there. I did pull the strut attach points out up here, took the hinges off for the hatch. All this needs cleaned out. But that's the whole exterior. That's pretty much going to be the last thing I do to this. I'll get the bottom finished up first, get it all in epoxy primer. I got all this dust in my lungs from grinding. But I'll do the bottom side first, and then I'll come in and clean the inside, take care of any little rusty spots and such, finish cleaning everything off, and then it'll all get primered. This roof, I'm not sure if I'll primer it before or after I do the roof, because the frame for the T-top, it's already painted black, and I won't be able to kind of prime it, so I may end up just priming it before I cut it out. It's hard to say. Depends on the weather, I guess, how warm it's going to stay out here. It's been below freezing for the past week or so. It's been really cold. Cold enough that my windshield washer fluid froze in the car. So, but I got her thawed out and going again. Today it was like freezing, 32 degrees. So I think that's pretty much what I've done today and the last couple weeks. This one I still got to get out. I had a hard time getting that trim off. There's two little clips in here that slide up, and then this pops out and this tucks back in, so you pull it out. And I had a hard time because the sealant they used on the inside, the butyl tape, was caught inside those clips, and you could hardly move them. I thought I was going to destroy this trim getting it off the other side, but I had to clean that up so I can get in here. This side got a couple little spots of rust up here working through, so I'll have to grind that down and make sure there's no holes in there. I'll melt out the lead that's in this side as well, because I had to. And then you can see I brought in the old cowling. My intent is to cut these things out and get the doublers off the backside. Make a couple, figure out a square cut, and then I'll cut the other ones out and then weld these ones back in, because these are pretty rusted too. But the ones on this one are worse. The rest of this is junk, so I got to cut them out. So I brought that in, get it thawed out today. So, all right, folks. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned it last time, but I did get this wheel well stripped of the tar in that. So this side is clean. I just have this other side to finish up over here. All I did is took the propane torch, heated it up, and scraped it. but it's hard stuff. It will not scrape. Once you hit it with the torch and soften it up, it peels up pretty easy. It's messy, but it peels. So I got to get this side completely cleaned out, and that'll be the last of the heavy duty scraping, I hope. So, all right, I guess that's going to be it for this week. Simple and sweet. So as always, feel free to leave any comments, questions, or concerns. I'll answer them as they come through. And as always, appreciate everyone taking time to watch these videos. I've started posting information about this project on the Four-Eyed Pride forum. It's a forum website dedicated to these, what they call these Mustangs 4-eyes, because they have 4 square headlights. Any 4-eyed car, whether it's a Mustang, was it Thunderbird, or Granadas and stuff like that, they had 4 headlights. Basically early 80s stuff. So, so I've been posting on there so the guys can see my build finally in progress there. So I'll be keeping a running tab in there as well so people can follow along. So appreciate those guys taking the time to subscribe to the channel as well. And hopefully I can keep the content coming. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this week update. I'll try to get more done and get her back on again next weekend. Alright, so that's going to do it for now, folks. This is Dino Don out.